Ladies and gentlemen, all the ships at sea, we are live this week, and we have our good friend Joel here. He's going to be going over some of the things that are going on in the markets because if no one has told you yet, things are starting to shift. It actually took a minute because when we started off, the interest rates kept going up. The market continued to be hot, but for some odd reason, in the last week that I've noticed, things have really turned around. So I don't want to keep Joel waiting for too long. I'm going to put up a graphic here real quick and let him talk to it. So there we go. So Joel, I have up the mortgage rates if you don't see it.
Yeah, I mean, the fives are just a thing of a common day now. We're seeing the fives, and if you look all the way down to the bottom right, we're starting to see those 6% interest rates starting to show up and shine some light on those.
Okay.
So definitely rates are on the rise. They've been on the rise, so that's of no surprise. And one thing that we've starting just to learn is it is what it is. Eric, a lot of people, when we see the fives, we're like, oh man, we want the fours. When we're seeing the fours, we were like, oh my, we want to see the threes. When we're seeing the threes, we wanted the twos. So now
Mhm.
that we're starting to see the sixes, people are like, oh, I want to stay in the fives. So I still have a lot of people that are trying to just continue to time the market, time the rates to go back down, but they just stop waiting. The rates are what they are. If it makes financial sense for you and your family, why not just take advantage of it now?
Okay. Uh, so based on the stuff that you've been seeing, stuff you're reading from MBA Mortgage Bankers Association, just scuttlebutt around the water cooler. Where are interests headed for the rest of the
Just Yeah, I mean they're going to continue to rise. That's what the economists are saying. That's what we're seeing. And the interesting thing too is that rates can change at any one time. So you might get pre-approved somewhere in the fives, but don't be surprised if when you go into contract, whether it be a couple of weeks or months, you're going to be locking it in the sixes. So rates are definitely going up. You hear about it throughout other research that you do, and that's we know what it is.
Mhm. Okay. Now, one of the things I'm sure people have noticed, you have different scores here. Now, it makes sense with different FICO scores. The lower your score, the more you're going to pay. The higher your score, the less you're going to pay. But when I come to the conventionals here, right now, it looks like you're at a disadvantage with the conventional loan or higher interest. Can you explain that?
Yeah, so you have your government-backed loans, which is that of the FHA and the VA, and then you have your conventional loans. If you look at the conventional loans, yeah, the rates are definitely a little bit higher when it comes to usually when you put larger down payment, we're accustomed to seeing the rates being much more attractive. But if you look at the chart here with the 20% down, the rate you're starting to see it up in the sixes. A
Yeah.
lot of different ways to view it. So you got to just sit back and work with a mortgage advisor where it's really making financial sense to really put 20% down on the property. You can do 15 or less and might be able to come out with a better rate than that of what we're accustomed to with putting 20% down.
Okay. Now, the difference in your MI, in general, between putting, let's say, the 10 or 15% down, compare it to the 20, and MI is mortgage insurance. So, with the exception of the VA loan, you're going to have to pay this mortgage insurance if you pay less than 20% down. So, is there a difference? Like, I mean, you'll get more out of just putting less down and taking that better interest rate or paying the 20% and having no MI?
Yeah, maybe you're better off just putting 10% down and buying off the MI.
Mhm.
So a lot of people always assume that you got to put the 20% down to avoid the MI when it's not necessarily always the case. Because on
Okay.
a conventional loan, the mortgage insurance is priced based off your credit score. So the higher the credit score, the lower the mortgage insurance. The higher the down payment, the lower the mortgage insurance. So of course, 20% down automatically avoids that MI, the mortgage insurance, but you can put 15, 10% down, you have a strong credit score, then just might be cheaper to pay off that mortgage insurance up front rather than just financing it.
Okay, so you
A
can
lot of
pay off
different ways
more.
that it could be structured.
Okay, so you
Yeah, you
technically
can
can't
pay it
pay it
off
off.
up front.
Really?
Yeah, you can
Tell me
pay it
about
off
that.
up front. Yeah. Yeah, so talking a little bit about the mortgage insurance with the rates going up, a lot of
Mhm.
individuals are qualifying for less now, right? Because the higher the rate, of course, the higher the payment, the lower the amount that you qualify for when it comes to purchasing power. But one of the ways that we're starting to go ahead and overcome the hurdle with the rising rates is paying off the mortgage insurance. You know, that can be a couple $100s a month on your mortgage payment, and now you could just pay it off up front and qualify for more.
Hmm,
Yeah.
okay. I mean, we can't get specific here because everyone has a different situation, but
hmm
if you're paying it off, about how much would that be?
So that's going to be very specific to each individual.
Okay.
But I just did one where the individual paid $1,200 and paid it off.
Whoa.
Yeah,
They paid $1,200 and paid it
yeah,
off and then had
yeah.
less than 20% down.
Yes, yes, yes.
How come everybody else doesn't know about this sliced
And
bread?
then yeah, no. And then there's another bar that yeah he paid 5,000, but of course it's also going to depend on the loan amount. He paid 5,000, but it still made financial sense for him to pay it off rather than put it bigger down to qualify for more.
Wow, I mean, that's something that needs to be passed off to folks, man.
Yeah, yeah. The mortgage insurance is definitely a. I wouldn't even call it a hidden trick, but that's one of the things that really differentiates me when I'm putting the loan together. Because a
Mhm.
lot of individuals sometimes want to come and say, "Hey, Joe, I don't want any mortgage insurance. I want to go ahead and put 20% down or even more just to have the lower payment." And it's like, okay, hold on here. I know you want to put a lot of money down, but let's see if it really makes financial sense. If you're doing
Mm,
it solely for the benefit of avoiding MI, why don't you just pay it off up front, save a little bit of your money and not put so much of a down, if that makes sense, you know?
yeah.
So yeah, yeah, no, yeah, definitely, man. The mortgage insurance sometimes it can be really, really, really inexpensive if you have a strong credit score, where you can
Hmm.
just pay it off rather than finance it.
And let's get a little bit more deep into this whole interest thing. Buying down your interest rate. Talk to me about that a little bit.
Yeah, so of course the rates that you see here are just what's called at par rates, meaning you're not buying it down. You can definitely pay whether it be 1% of your loan amount, half a percent of your loan amount, a quarter of percent of your loan amount to get that of a lower interest rate. But that's really where we got to see if it makes sense because you might only be
Mhm.
saving $10 a month, but it's going to cost you a couple of thousand to buy down the rate. It's like,
Okay.
okay, do I really want to pay that much money just to say that I have a quote unquote low rate? You know,
Mhm.
so definitely going to take a look at that. And then you know
Okay.
when you say buying down the rate, that's where you want to be careful because we're also quick to Google what's today's interest rate. Just read the fine print and they'll tell you right there and then the scenarios and the discount points that they're charging for that quote unquote attractive rate.
Right. Uh, Now, here's another one that kind of trips up some folks. Now, they look at an interest rate, but they haven't looked at their APR. The APR, because of certain hidden fees, could be much higher. So just because they
Correct.
saved a little bit in interest, they're paying a little bit more or a lot more because of that APR. Can you talk to us about that?
Yeah, definitely. So whenever you have your interest rate and then you have your APR. Pretty much APR is that when you roll those fees into the loan. So you might be getting a lower rate up front, but they're just rolling on those fees onto the loan and costing you to have a much higher APR. Definitely want
Okay.
to be cautious, definitely want to be fully aware and transparent when you're obtaining a mortgage,
Mhm.
especially if you're just so rate sensitive. Which we gotta change our thought on when it comes to being rate sensitive. You know, we just can't shop around looking for the lowest rate. We got to shop around looking for solid mortgage advisors.
Okay. Now, when you're talking about fees being rolled in, now we've talked about this before, and it's something that's you can do sometimes. Now, let's say if someone had or lacks money they need for closing costs or something. Now, sometimes you can do some kind of a program with that where you pay a little bit more in interest. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so we don't see it that much frequently in this environment that we're in with the rising rates. But
Mhm.
yes, so whenever you lend a quote to an interest rate, they should be giving you a couple of different options A, B, C, and D. One of those options should be with the lower interest rate with the higher discount points, which means more out of pocket. And then they should be giving you another option with the higher interest rate and lower out of pocket. And the difference between those is usually with the higher rate, you're going to see something that's called lender credit, which is a little difficult to see with these rates. But with the lender credit, that can help offset some of those costs, but in return, you are going to be paying a higher rate.
Okay. Okay. This is hard to quote those things right now. I'm not going to ask that. And I'm going to talk about one more loan product out there uh, that is not on here. Do you know which one I'm talking about?
Which one? The USDA?
Yeah. And I know that
Yeah,
there are areas here in Clark County where it's actually possible.
yeah. I mean, look at Boulder City, you know? I think
Mhm.
last time we talked about that, a lot of people were impressed that Boulder City actually qualifies for USDA financing. It's 100% financing, you know? Mesquite is actually one of the most common ones that we do see a lot of USDA financing.
Okay.
100% financing, you know, there's not much more to it. Very, very beneficial product. A lot of individuals are not taking advantage of. A lot of people are getting priced out here in the Las Vegas Valley, which we're talking about. I'm sure you're going to touch on that as far as how that's changing frequently, recently actually. And a lot of individuals are starting to explore in the surrounding areas in the valley, such as Mesquite and Boulder City, and that is offering and opening up some other lending products for them. USDA being one of them.
Okay. Maybe we can get into it a little bit later if you brought it up. There's actually the website that I'm talking about. You can go there. It'll actually like color in the areas where you can get a USDA loan.
Yeah. You can just simply
Uh,
go online and type in the address and it'll populate it if it's eligible for that of USDA financing.
okay. Because
Similar to other programs out there where you can type in the address and it'll tell you what down
okay,
payment assistance programs are available to you.
okay. Well, since you touched on down payment assistance, I know plenty of people are wondering about that. What's actually available out there for them right now?
So we're seeing actually some programs just being available on a day-to-day basis because the market is so volatile that these down payment assistance programs are one day they might have an option available for you, the next day they might not have any options available for you. So you definitely want to explore are your options, be prepared for having down payment assistance available to you, but just also be prepared to not having it available to you.
Okay. I mean, but like home is possible and stuff like that.
Yeah. You have your home as possible. You have your home at last.
Mhm.
Now, they used to have a lot of different options where you can get a below market rate. You can get up to 5% in assistance. But we do get emails frequently from these organizations where they do state that this option is currently not available due to market being so volatile. So you
Mhm.
might not have a 3% assistance option in that day, which is very interesting to see. But that's where it comes down to just being prepared for all the different options out there.
Okay. Now, one that is part of those is like the Hero program. Do they still have that?
The Hero program is still there. So is the teachers program out there. The teachers
Mhm.
program gets you $500 to help you with your closing costs. That one's still available. So there's a lot of different programs out there.
Okay. And one a popular one here in the valley is the culinary program. Are they still running that one?
The culinary program, that one I'm not part of.
Mhm.
A lot of different reasons, but the culinary program, from what I'm aware, is still available out there. But yeah, I won't touch on it because I'm not part of this. So I don't want to speak
Okay.
something that's not my
No worries.
specialty. But yeah,
Understand.
hmm
Okay. So
a lot of
now
programs
we'll
out there. A lot.
okay, cool. So what we'll do here is for just a quick second, we're going to start going through the market. I don't even look at these ahead of time because I want to be just as surprised, kind of like a reaction. So let's go ahead and get into this month's numbers. So, of course, we're just going to look at what has sold. We'll come back to actives later. Get down to the cities here. I'm embarrassed here. We have to do one of these. Here we go. Okay. So let's just go of a specific time of so far this month, and we can kind of figure out how the market's headed. Okay, so let's just take a look. We'll do the entire market right now just to see what the results are. And we can pull up our little stats. So we look at the broad market. The average close price was 514, and the median was 450. Time on market, median time was 7, average 15. Now let's get a little bit more detailed. Just want to see what the broad market was doing. So let's see whoops. Uh, what happened there? Went back and it started all over for me. Okay. Okay, then. Let's go find these cities again. Okay. For condominiums, 322 were sold. Let's take a look at them. And the stats so far this month. Drum roll, please. Average close price 262, 189, median of 250. I find it strange that it's always a round number. Let's compare this to the end of last month. So here we go. Which actually isn't going to help because this one is condos and townhomes, but we'll just have it open here for us in a second. So remember this number 262 and 250. Okay, let's look at the townhomes. This is geeking out here. I was talking to Joel, I was talking about my new laser, what I was going to be doing with it. So here we have the average of 371, median of 360, 6 days on market, 12 for the average. Let's combine them and see what it looks like. Then we can compare. So combined, the average was 307. Last month, it was 297. So another 10,000 for the average. What do you think of that, Joel?
Yeah, interesting stuff.
So let's go check what the median was. Median was 285. Median was sold was 275. So median price went up another 10,000. That's so far this year. I mean this month. That's not a good sign. 7 days and 12. See, sold average for median 5,000 over the list price. And everyone's favorite, single family homes. Drum roll, please. Ready to look at this? Oh my. Okay, wait a minute. I think that's actually down. Median 580. Let's see. Median. Where was it? Hey, I'm sorry. Average. The average price actually went down. That's unbelievable. Let me make that a little bit bigger. So the average last month was 586. So far this month, it's 580. 6,000 less. First time. Median 485 last month. Now the median did go up. So we're approaching 500 for the median price of a home. How does that track with the contracts you've been seeing?
Well, and it cut off a little bit. Can you repeat that last part again? You
I
said that
say,
the
how does that
medium
track
went
with the
down.
contracts you've been seeing? The median price of a single family home has gone from 475 to 485 so far through this month. Is that tracking with what you see? Oh, is that me or you? Okay, you just spaced out there for a second. Don't know it. Did you hear me, Joel?
Hold on. Sorry, back on now. Sorry, so sorry about that.
Oh, no
So you said
worries.
that the medium went up or
The
down?
median, the median went up by $10,000 so far this month. It's 485. Last month it was 475. Does that track with the
Wow.
stuff you've been seeing?
Yeah, man, definitely. Which is very interesting, because people assume that since rates are going up, that everything is just going to be so much cheaper,
Hmm.
and it's kind of like, wait, so what's really happening? We're all trying to just to grasp our heads into like, with the rates increasing itself. I think that just blew everybody's mind away that it came so quick. I think
Right.
things are happening so much quicker than anticipated that it's just he's got to be prepared all the times.
Okay. Now, was something that was really interesting. Our sales meeting on Thursday, someone had mentioned that all of their listings were actually starting to sit for a little bit. So it's not a bursting of the bubble or anything. We're still well under a month of inventory, but hot houses aren't selling in a weekend like they were a month ago. From the stuff that's coming across your desk, are you seeing any kind of a slowdown or of applications coming across or anything like that?
So this is what I'm seeing. So what I'm seeing is contracts coming in, right? And I'm seeing people wanting to close so quick. And yeah, we're closing in 14 days or 18 days, 20 days. But the pushback is that I'm getting is that, hold on, Joey, moving too fast. Please hang tight. Our seller is not ready to close. We don't want to close early. So it's kind of like, okay, so you want to move really fast, but now you just want us to kind of step back a little bit. And the feedback that I'm getting is like, yeah, you, your buyer came through real quick for us. Now, our seller is still having a hard time finding a home. So it's kind of like, okay, I'm trying to grasp my head around as to you're going to go ahead and sell your home. You want to close quick, but you don't want to close too quick to where you haven't even found the home that you're looking for.
Mhm.
That's the stuff that is coming across my desk. As far as the applications of individuals applying for mortgages wanting to get pre-approved, that has slowed down. And I think that has slowed down tremendously throughout the mortgage industry. But there's still people out there trying to buy a home. Now, are they, like you said, coming through on the weekend, 24/7 like they were throughout last year? No, not like that. Not like how they were previously. But they're still coming around, but not as many as we had seen. So yeah, we're seeing a slowdown, and I think that's just throughout the entire mortgage industry. We're seeing a slowdown in individuals applying for home loans, but they're still out there looking for homes.
Okay. Um, what about the refi activity? Because I know with higher interest rates now, probably fewer refis. How's that looking?
Yeah, refinances, believe it or not, they're still going. So I'm a big purchase lender, so I focus heavily on that of the purchase market to get individuals into a home. A lot of the refinances that my team and I do are mainly for existing customers, but every now and then we do have those individuals that do give us a call to refinance. And the refinances that we're seeing right now are those individuals that want to consolidate their debt.
Mm.
That's the ones that are coming across our desk. Just to give you an idea, we had an individual that refinanced and took some cash out. Their payment went up by 500. So everybody's like, "Whoa, hold on! They refinanced to go for the payment to go 500." It's like, yeah, but their overall monthly expenses decreased by 1,500. So they
Oh,
eliminated all their credit card debt. They eliminated their auto loans. So now what they're going to be doing is they're still going to continue making the full overall payment that they were making. They're just going to pay this off much quicker.
okay. Okay. I get it.
That's the refinance that we're seeing. As far as refinancing to lower your interest rate, no, that's we're not seeing that.
Okay.
Yeah,
So it's mainly consolidation loans.
mainly consolidation. Yeah,
Okay.
because if you compare the 18% you're paying on your credit card uh, to that of a 6%, it's kind of like, okay, hold on, still a significant savings.
Yes, it is. Okay. And what about HELOCs? Are HELOCs still popular? Home
You know,
equity loan?
HELOCs are making a comeback. I'm sure you've probably seen and everybody's seen a lot of banks, a lot of mortgage lenders starting to offer HELOCs. We're going to be
Mm.
offering some HELOCs as well in the upcoming weeks. So I'll have that more info for you. But yeah, HELOCs are making a comeback.
Okay. And what about the adjustable rate? I know that is actually starting to come back now because
Say
of
that
higher
again.
interest rates. Adjustable rate mortgages.
The arms are coming back. Yeah.
Mm.
Now, a lot of people, when they hear adjustable rate mortgages, are like, oh, okay, here we go again. It's happening once again, you know? It's like,
Mm.
no, I mean, for an adjustable rate mortgage, you still need income, job, and assets. Now, a lot of individuals, what we're seeing, the adjustable rate mortgages, is that the individuals that benefit from those are those individuals that know for a fact that they're not going to stay in the home for more than 3, 5, or 7 years. So does
Mm.
it make sense for everybody? No. Does it make some sense for some people? Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Now, this one's not a lending question per se, but kind of is.
Okay.
Now, we had a little financial hiccup about 2007, 2008, and some people just walked away from their mortgages and are now renters. And anybody who walked away back then or did not walk away is actually putting several $100,000 in their pockets right now.
Yeah. You know,
That's
and
how high they've gone.
that's
I
it,
mean,
man. And
they were 150,000 higher than the median was before the crash.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Then, yeah, and you would have had all those years to pay down.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
So somebody who kept their house is probably walking away with $250,000.
You know, and the thing too is that a lot of individuals think that since the rates are going up, people are walking away from their homes. It's like, no, they're not. And I have this conversation at least twice a week from individuals that call in that want to get pre-approved. They're like, "Hey, Joe, I want to get pre-approved because I hear that people are walking away from their homes." It's like, no, I don't know where we're getting this information from, but who's gonna walk away from a 2, 3, 4, even 5% mortgage interest rate? You know, what we are seeing though is a lot of individuals that went into forbearance. You know, they're tacking on that liability onto the mortgage, but it's still even then, the payments are so manageable when you compare mortgage payment to that of the current rent payment.
Mm.
It's substantial savings.
Oh yeah, rents have gone up. Rents are too damn high.
Oh man. Oh yeah. It's so we have a property manager for one of our rentals for my wife and I, and
Mm.
we saw an application come through, and I was like, so this individual is paying how much to get a rental? I was like, man, they're in the thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to just get a rental property. It's like these thousands of dollars to get a rental is the same as a down payment on a home.
Yeah, some of them require, first month's rent plus your security deposit and all those fees up front. I mean, especially with a VA loan, if you have a VA loan and you're looking for a house to rent, your credit is half decent, you'd be a fool not to go buy a house.
Oh
No,
man,
no
that's
down payment. Come on. I mean, to
yeah,
go get into a decent house now is almost a $2,000. So you're
yeah.
looking at with all your fees, 4,500. And I mean, I've closed several VAs with you, and it's like 4,500, 5,000 bucks in closing costs, and you don't have to pay your mortgage for like a month or two after you close.
And compare the home that you're buying versus the home that you're renting.
Yeah,
Oh man, it's like
no,
come on, guys, we,
I
we can
know.
do this, you know?
Best thing since sliced bread.
Yeah,
We throw in that USDA, which is the same thing.
yeah, man.
No down payment.
Yeah, it's
And,
and to rent nowadays, you gotta have a superb FICO. You know, I
oh
hear that a
yeah.
lot of tenants don't want anything up below a 680. It's like, okay, so you gotta have a 700 plus a couple $1,000 just to rent. It's like,
Hmm.
just do yourself a favor, do your family a favor, give it a shot at buying, because you'll be
Yeah.
surprised.
Well, a lot more. Oh, I forgot to look at that one. Hold up here. I'm missing something. And then all this, I didn't check to see what my other stats are like today. Hold on. I do this too raw, right?
That's what it's
Right
about, you
now.
know. It's like no sugarcoating.
Oh my goodness. Let's see here what we got. 1193 for the new listings. So just a couple of months ago, it was only like what 700 a week. So yeah, of the last 7 days, 1193. Back on market, 232. So these are those folks I like to talk about, Joel, who do the I promise to pay X amount over a low appraisal. They didn't
Yeah,
have the money and they're sitting there praying that it appraises
yeah.
and then it doesn't.
Oh
Then they
yeah,
just go, yeah, I'm done. I ain't giving you $50,000. I was hoping it was gonna go higher.
yeah. I'm looking forward to the next line down that you're going down.
Yeah,
Let me see
price
what else you got.
decreases. Look at that.
Yeah,
Half the freaking market, man.
that.
Everybody getting
Oh,
realistic right now.
yeah.
Half
It
the
was just a
market.
matter of time. Wouldn't you say, Eric, that it was just a matter of time before folks realized, like, well, what are we doing here?
Yeah, yeah. Uh, I still never understand the price increases, but they could be a dollar just to move them or something.
And look
Uh,
at the price
under
decrease.
contract, show and 273, 730. I'm not going to do math in public, but look at this. Second straight week in a row, the solds less than the new listings. Every week that I've done this since what, October, the new listings, I'm sorry, the solds outpaced the new listings. It's almost like, how does that happen? How are you selling more houses than come on the market? Well, that's not happening anymore. It's not a balanced market. Things are changing. And that's why we have these folks doing these price decreases because they realize it's not happening. So, peak market, I mean, may just be my opinion. Peak market has happened. I don't think
So,
we're going to see any more 20 and 30 offers. And I don't think we're going to see any more people offering 50,000 over for a house. I think that ended 1 month ago.
so what do you? What's the benefit of that individual that's seeing the price decrease?
There is no benefit because the market got set. So let's say when we come in, I mean, you know about appraisals, man.
Yeah, of course, of
When
course, of course.
somebody came in and said, okay, your house is worth 400, but I have to have it. I'm coming from California. I'm going to give you 450. They reset the market in that neighborhood. Every house in that neighborhood went up 50,000. But here's where the problem comes in. The next neighbor who lists, instead of going, oh my God, I got 50,000 more, what do they ask for their house? 500,000. That's what these are. These are the people who asked 500,000 when the last house sold for 450. But see, that ain't happening anymore.
Yeah.
That last person who paid 50,000 over, bring them some brownies and say thank you for increasing my value, and then list your house at 450.
Yep. Interesting. You know what I got a call this week. I got a call from an agent, right? That one of our mutual buyers put an offer in, and the listing agent. I always call those individuals that put an offer in. I call the listing agent, tell them how solid of a bar we got, and so forth. This was for a condo. The
Mm-hmm.
listing agent proceeds to tell me, Joel, you know, please do everything you can to make this happen. I need this condo sold. And I said, okay. And then he goes on to say, we'll throw in some closing cost credit if you need to. We'll do whatever it takes so you guys can go ahead and proceed with this. And I said, you're offering closing costs? He's
Well, yeah,
like, yeah,
closing costs are starting to come back for some of these houses. I
yeah.
mean, it's been a minute, but
It's been a good
you
minute.
can get closing costs right now because we should be
So
in the summer season where this isn't happening. But uh, California's can tow us up.
So we touched on the VA. It's some of the deals that we've closed where the veteran came $4,500 out of pocket. So can
Mhm.
we possibly be asking for this 4,500 and come absolutely nothing out of pocket? You know,
Yeah.
there's a lot of food for thought in these things.
Oh yeah, I mean another food for thought, especially with the veterans, is when they're dealing with the lender because some of these lenders are charging origination fees.
Yeah,
So
man.
median price, if it's 485, let's call it what it is,
Yeah,
$500,000. 1% is $5,000.
yeah,
So if you're going with the lender who's charging origination fees, you are giving them $5,000. There are plenty of
right.
lenders. I ain't going to toot your horn, man, but plenty of lenders who are not charging that.
Yep.
That's a hint.
Yeah, and we're one of them because that can add up tremendously.
Yeah,
5,000 bucks, 5,000 bucks.
yeah, especially in this market. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it's a lot easier to ask for 4,500 bucks for closing costs than to ask for 9,000.
Yeah. Yep. So those price decreases is something to keep an eye out if you're in the market and you've been thinking about it. You
Yeah.
know, don't continue to wait and say, I'm gonna wait for that 450 to drop to 400. No, 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 no. Let's be
Oh,
realistic
that's not
here.
happening.
We'll tell it to you how it is. Let's just make things happen.
Now, what you can do is what I always recommend. Go look for the guy, see who hasn't got to this point of the price decrease, who keeps slamming his fist talking about he's going to get what he's going to get. They never get what they're going to get. I mean, some of them got what they wanted over the last year or so, but now I think my last one, no, my last two. Now they weren't like the pristine, super beautiful houses, but they were normal. We got them at list,
Yeah,
and before you had to pay over.
yeah, yeah. It's and that's a benefit. Those individuals. I don't know what else we're gonna be waiting for. Those individuals that have been sitting on the sidelines, wait for the market to burst, whatever. That's not happening.
Mm,
Now the market, like you said, has corrected, and now people are seeming to come to their senses and offer and list for what it's really worth. So you don't have to worry about offering, like you said, 50,000 over list over appraised value just to get the home. Things are
mm.
changing, so why continue waiting?
Yeah, I mean, but actually, this is a good thing because a lot of those sellers who've been sitting on the sitting on the wall, waiting for some kind of a peak market, I think they're going to start listing, and I wouldn't be surprised by the end of summer we don't see this new listings be like 2,000.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it was
That- that-
700 a few months ago. We're at almost 12 now, so we can definitely hit 2,000. And when that happens, I mean, we may go back to a balanced market where someone asks 500,000 for their house and you offer 485.
Look at that.
Yeah,
I mean,
crossing my
it's
fingers
just
for it.
that tables have churned.
Yeah.
You know, so interesting, man. It's always neat to chat during
Mhm.
these times because a lot
Right.
of individuals will wait for everything to happen and then, oh yeah, no, I knew it right from the beginning. It's like talk about it in between, be raw. Like
Yeah.
let's tell it how it is. You're seeing the price decreases, tell it how it is. So
No.
it's interesting.
Okay. Let's get some parting shots in. So one of the parting shots I have is, let's say someone's trying to clean up their credit. I keep telling folks when they're trying to clean up their credit, uh, the first thing they need to do, which is the last thing they want to do, is go talk to a lender because you're sitting there. Oh, it's like trying to work out before you go to the gym for your New Year's resolution. You need to talk to somebody to see what you actually need to do because we've had some situations together where, like one individual, remember that one who
Yeah,
instead of talking, went and paid off debts that actually made it worse for them.
yeah, 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 yeah. And we had an individual that went and actually did what we told him, and next thing you know, he was so shocked, like, really, I only had to go and do this. It's like, yeah, that's how you really need it. And
Yeah.
sure enough, you know,
And I'm thinking about one other, I don't know, because I don't want to mention names,
yeah,
but this individual, they said they would never be able to, they thought they would never be able to get a house within 6 weeks. What was he in?
in this home, man, stoked.
You just don't know what you don't know.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly. A lot of individuals come in and I want, my credit's bad.
Mhm.
It's like, okay, why is it bad? How is it bad? I don't know. I just know my credit's bad. We pull it, what we pull it, and it's like, what's so bad about it? It's like, oh no, really, what are you seeing? It's like, well, because Credit Karma told me this over here. It's like, no, 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 no. Let's leave it to the professionals. Let
Right.
us advise you on what's needed. And a lot of people, Eric, believe it or not, that think that the credit's bad don't want the credit pulled, and
Mhm.
it's like, you don't know where you don't know where you stand if you just don't give it a shot. Let us run your
Okay.
credit; it doesn't cost you anything, and let us advise you and guide you so that your credit can be in top shape to get you into the home.
Okay.
Oh, that
Yeah.
individual that we closed in 6 weeks, I mean, I'll never forget about him because we have a lot of those repeat stories where we help individuals that think home ownership was nowhere near in their future, and next thing you know, they're into their home.
Yep. Yeah. I do have a question. Uh, I'll just get down to it. I'm not going to put it on the screen. Yes, there are still an abundance of buyers versus sellers. The difference is because of the interest rates, we have, how should I put it? They're more cautious because, it's not like they're trying to buy a house at 2.75, at 5.5 and above. That's a $500 difference from last year. I mean, from the beginning of the year. On top of that, you have to include what it costs more for the house. So you're easily looking at paying six, seven, $800 more. So some people just don't have that money, but there's still plenty of people out there. Uh, it's just that a lot of people are being priced out right
Yep, that I agree with for sure.
now. Yeah, I mean, because six, seven, $800, that's a car payment or two for all your groceries, all your utilities, plus most of your groceries. One tank of gas.
If that, it might only fill up half.
uh, I remember the first because my wife usually fills the vehicles. And I had to fill my SUV one day, and I was like, I hope this thing doesn't get to 100. Hit 100. I was telling people about. It's like, no, it didn't hit 100. The pump stopped at 100.
Yeah. I was like, oh, that's how much you paid for the full tank, 100. It's like, no, I had to stop it, or else the thing was gonna keep going, you know?
Oh no, the pump stopped itself. I thought I'd filled up, and I was like, wow, 100 on the dot.
Oh man, but yeah, no, the difference in rate is substantial. Like five, six
Right.
hundred bucks, and difference in the mortgage payment from when an individual was pre-approved till now. It's substantial. So definitely, a lot of people are like, hold on, is it doable? Is it not doable? It just putting everything into perspective.
Okay. Cool. Well, other than the one question, let's give people just a second if they want to ask a question, and we'll just banter about for about 1 minute, and then we could just bounce on out of here and get our dinners. Okay, so like people who are going, like getting ready to buy a house, getting ready to get ready. What are some advice you can give them as far as keeping their credit clean?
Yeah, it's yeah, how do I say this? Don't go so quick and get your credit ran to save 20% on the purchase, please.
Mm.
If you're really considering buying a home, don't go and create your credit pool for any little reason besides that of the to help you with the objective you're trying to accomplish. If you're really serious about buying a home, don't go and get your credit pool at a car dealership. Don't get your credit pool at a department store. Get your credit pooled by a mortgage professional that will truly advise you and guide you on what steps you need to take to get that credit in top shape.
Okay. Now, I'm going to try to keep myself from getting in trouble on this one while we let this 2 minutes pass. Now, there are some organizations, and one I can think of in particular, who promise to clean up folks' credit, and they end up just going month after month with very little improvement. Uh, would you start with one of those people, or start with a mortgage lender who can put you into a credit scoring machine and figure out what you need to do instead of trying to milk
Yeah.
you for an amount per month?
It's just a matter of getting straight to the point, you know? It's like you're trying to achieve home ownership, talk to the mortgage expert. Let's get right to it. Don't waste your time with these, oh, yeah, I don't want to get in trouble either, but don't waste your time with some companies that's just going to drag you along in the process. Yeah, don't get me wrong. Sometimes it does take months or a year to get your credit up to par, but if you can hear from a professional that will tell you, do this, 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 and in 6 months you'll be in good shape. I'm a man of my word. If I tell you in 6 months, as long as you do this, I'll help you out. Then yeah, we'll help you out. But you got to put in
Sure.
the work.
Got to put in the work. Well, I think we've put in the work tonight, Joel, and it was a pleasure having you here. It's a great conversation. I hope we've helped a lot of folks out figure out what's going on in the current market. And with that, with no other questions, I'm going to see you around the water cooler, man.
All right, you got it. All right, take care.
Okay. Thanks a
Thanks
lot.
again, man. Appreciate
And
it.
see
Yeah, you're
everybody.
welcome.
Oops. Oh, wait a minute. Somebody just asked a question. How many months of making your mortgage payments qualify claim? It doesn't matter how many months you been in there, as long as you have enough where you overcome the standard deduction. In all honesty, with the current standard deduction, I don't know if the mortgage payments would even get to a point where you would pay enough interest to worry about claiming it on your income taxes. Because as a single individual, it's like over $12,000 just for your standard deduction. And as a married couple, it's like 25, 26. So if a married couple is out there and they have a standard deduction, there's pretty much, you're not going to be able to use mortgage interest on that anymore. And especially when they got rid of the high salt in the states that did not vote for a particular party, like in California and New Jersey, you have less of a chance because they cap it at 10,000. Okay, cool. I believe that is it, and I will see you around the water cooler, Joe. Talk to you later.
We'll see you.